Hello, mesdames et messieurs. Are you ready to go French in the simple, sober life? Well, hang on. Hello my friends and welcome to the Simple Sober Life. I am Joshua and I help others make small changes so they can create a life of awesome. Welcome back my friends. It is Sunday and you know what that means. That means another low carb recipe for your taste buds. Now Christmas is over. Finally it's over. But it seems like it just came and went in a flash. Like there was all this buildup and then the big event, and then kaput. Very anticlimactic. It was awesome being around Katie and Brian and little Callie, watching her eyes light up as she opened gifts. The family got up kind of early, earlier than they would normally get up, and after making some cinnamon rolls and bacon, having some coffee. Well, I had the coffee. We sat down and we started opening gifts, and about 20 minutes into it, Callie was done. She had had enough. She had the excitement was there for about 20 minutes, and then she was over it. But it was so cool to just see her eyes light up and tear through the gifts, and little Faith even got involved. She loved, it's so weird, I've never seen a dog that actually opens gifts. So this week's work schedule has been crazy. I worked Monday and Tuesday. No, I worked Monday. Tuesday was Christmas Eve, I was off that day. I was off Wednesday, and then I went back Thursday and Friday. And Friday, even though it's my short day, I only work from 6 to 4:30, it seemed to go on forever. And I was so exhausted. I was so tired. I think that day I'd woken up at 2:30 in the morning, and when I wake up, it's time to go. And I start my day, I drink about a pot of coffee, and I had so much time before I had to get ready for work. I was working on my book. But that work week was over and it starts again next week. I am off on Wednesday for New Year's Day, which is great. I'm super pumped about that. It'll be a nice break during the week. But it's so weird. When I have a day off or 2 days off like I did last week and I have to go back to work, it's the worst thing ever. I'd almost rather not even have those days off because it's kind of like a little teaser and then you got to go back to the grind. You're like, ugh, shoot me now. But it's a blessing. It's a nice day to relax. I can get some extra work done and move on and do what I need to do. But I've been super productive this weekend, which has been really exciting. I'm up to 175 pages on my book, which just blows my mind. I never thought I would ever actually do something like that. I've always thought about, what I would write a book about. And now that I'm actually doing it, I'm making such progress. It's crazy. I'm about 80% done with it. And then, once I do that, I have to do the editing and all that, and then find a publisher or whatever, however I'm gonna do it. Maybe I'll self-publish it. Haven't really gotten that far, and I don't need to just yet. But I've also finished filming the last video in the Life of Awesome Change series, and I can't tell you how excited I am about this series. Video 3 comes out tomorrow on Monday, and these last 3 videos will revolutionize your life. I know the steps that I've taken in these videos, I've actually done in real life, and my life has gotten so much better just by making small changes in my life. And we are going to work on one of those small changes today with our low carb recipe. But first, I've got a story for you. So, you all probably know the situation I've had with my car. My car is a complete disaster. I should just throw it off a cliff and be done with it. I've had so many problems with it. I bought it from a private party, and the thing, I'm surprised the thing hasn't just fallen apart. There's no heat, and it's freezing here, or at least it was. Right now it's about 60 degrees, which is weird, and I'm loving it. But in general, it's cold, it's December, and we're moving into January, and people around here are like, oh, January's the worst month. Snow and sleet and ice and cold weather. I'm like, great. So my car has no heat. And I was thinking, Brian was just looking through Facebook or whatever it was, and an ad popped up for a car dealership that was really promoting their end of the year sale. And they were giving away all of these incentives. They were doing credit forgiveness. They were giving $4,000 over a trade-in value. They were giving you a $2,500 cash incentive. Yada, yada, all these glitz and glamoury things. So he sent it over to me, and I researched it, and I followed up with the dealership, and started asking them questions, because trust me, right now, even though my situation is improving, if I was a car dealership, I wouldn't want anything to do with me. But I followed up, and I explained the situation that I was in, the car, my financial status, and things like that. And they're like, no problem. We would be happy to work with you. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I made an appointment for yesterday, Saturday. And I researched their inventory online, and my plan was to go in and get a pre-owned car, something low miles, within a budget that I could rely on. And I'd found 2 cars. And so, I contacted the person back. I'm like, will your incentives work with, pre-owned cars? And they're like, absolutely no problem. I'm like, and the cars that we're looking at were between $4,000 and $5,000. So I was thinking, I would trade in my car, put down a down payment, and I had a set amount that I could allocate for that, and use the incentive money to pay off 2 rotating debts that I have, so that I could loosen up that monthly fund to furnish the car payment each month. And I figured it would be a relatively low amount that I could get paid off pretty quickly, and I wouldn't have a problem. So I drive an hour to this car dealership, and I won't name the dealership because I have a little bit more tact than that. Thank you very much, Hyundai of Asheville. But I went in there at my scheduled appointed time, and I sat down with the manager. His name was Zach. All right, so maybe I don't have any tact. My bad. And he was all gung-ho about helping me. And I laid out the situation. They had it in writing exactly what my situation was, the type of car I was bringing in. I brought in my pay stubs so I could justify exactly what I earned. I told him exactly how much I was willing to put down. And he's like, no problem. We would be happy to help you. And so I told him about the cars that I was looking at. One was a Hyundai Santa Fe, and that one was, I think, $4,800. And the other one was an Elantra, which was like $5,300. So my idea was that, again, I would trade in the car. I highballed the trade-in value at about $2,000. So I was figuring I could put that down or towards the car. And then I was figuring, I would put $1,500 cash on top of that. So that would bring it up to $3,500, meaning I'd only have to finance, no more than $2,000. And immediately that plan was shot down. So he said that the banks don't like to finance something that low because it has to do with the value of the car and things like that. They don't like to finance low valued cars and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, He's like, but would you be open to, a newer car, something more reliable, something, that we could finance? And he told me that they wouldn't want to finance anything under $7,000. Not really what I'm looking for. But let's talk the numbers, and I told him my monthly budget of what I would be willing to pay each month. And, you know, I let him run a credit check, which I should not have done because I've been working so hard on my credit, and, you know, that just kind of dings at it. And I've already noticed a drop in, you know, the progress, but, you know, it's done, it's over with, I'm gonna have to do that. So we go back and forth, and he goes to his finance office and comes back, and he's like, well, would you be willing to put any more down? Nope, I told you, this is what I'm putting down. So he goes back and comes back to me, and he's like, well, would you be interested in a different type of car? I'm like, yeah, I don't care what kind of car it is, as long as it's reliable and, you know, I can afford it. And so he goes back. A couple minutes later, he comes back and he's like, you know, it's not that you're not important, but I can't deal with this right now. I'm too busy. Could you come back another day? Wow. He's like, with your financial situation, I'd have to call in favors and yada, yada, yada. Okay. Talk about a shot to my ego. But I understood. I could understand from his perspective, he probably would not have made much, if anything, from the situation I was laying out. But my problem was that I laid out this situation ahead of time, you know, so I wouldn't waste the time and money getting down there and, you know, having to deal with this. So my pride was hurt for sure. I didn't get a new car. I did waste time and money getting down there and still don't have anything to show for it. But I think in all in all, I think I'm actually happy it didn't work out. I was sitting at lunch. I had a fantastic lunch in Asheville. I love Asheville. It's such a cool town. I was sitting outside on a patio because it was a gorgeous day, eating a chicken BLT sandwich from this fantastic restaurant on a corner. There were musicians playing on the sidewalk. It was just awesome. And I started calling around to other dealerships, other car lots, seeing if they'd take trade-ins, seeing if they finance and yada. And the more I thought about it, the more it kind of dawned on me that at this point, while I've made great strides in improving myself financially and things like that, I don't think I'm comfortable taking on additional payments. Because if I would finance a car, then my insurance would go up because I'd have to get full coverage, and I'd have those car payments in addition to the other things that I'm trying to get taken care of. So, while my pride was hurt for sure, I think it worked out for the best. Sorry about that rant, my friends. I just had to get that off my chest. I know you're here to witness some Cordon Bleu magic. We are going to make a low-carb chicken Cordon Bleu. And if you say Cordon Bleu, you're wrong. It's not Cordon Bleu, it's Cordon Bleu. If you're gonna make this, you gotta be fancy. So, let's get started. I'm gonna show you exactly what ingredients we need for this low-carb masterpiece. All right, my friends, for this low-carb Cordon Bleu recipe, we are going to need 4 pieces of white chicken breast. We're gonna need ham, Swiss cheese. The recipe recommends using avocado oil. We do not have any in the house. I'm gonna go ahead and use canola oil because instead of baking, we're actually going to be frying this recipe. This is the first low-carb fried recipe I'm gonna try, so we'll see how it turns out. I actually can't even remember the last time I fried something, so let's hope and pray. But this has 0 carbs, so I think I'm all right with that. We're gonna need an egg, some sea salt, some black pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, iced coffee for me. And then for the cheese sauce, we are going to need heavy whipping cream, chicken broth, grated Parmesan, which I forgot to get out. I'm gonna have to get that out. Parsley, and then for the actual breading, they recommend doing it with pork rinds. I'm not gonna do that because I'm afraid that those pork rinds will absorb all the oil and I don't really want that. So I'm using almond flour and a Parmesan cheese mixture, which I'll coat the chicken breasts in. My friends, we're gonna start off by laying our chicken down, and I have it covered in saran wrap. I've got a piece of saran wrap underneath, and then I laid another one over top. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pound out the chicken until it's about 1/4 inch thick. Now, this seems like a spectacular recipe to do during the holidays. You can easily take out all of your stress on the chicken. Even though it's already dead, we're gonna kill it again. And with our chicken completely desecrated, what we're gonna do is we're gonna decorate it with ham and cheese. Ham and Swiss cheese. We're just gonna lay it across the top there. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna roll up each chicken breast and wrap it up with plastic cling wrap, saran wrap, and refrigerate for an hour. And this will help it hold its stay. So we're gonna wrap that up. While the chicken is resting in the refrigerator, we're gonna actually make our cheese sauce. And in order to do this, what we're gonna do is we're going to add a cup of heavy whipping cream, 3/4 of a cup of grated Parmesan, 1/3 of a cup of chicken stock, tablespoon of Dijon mustard, tablespoon of parsley, and a tablespoon of butter, with a little bit of salt and pepper if you like. Bring that up to a simmer and let it simmer for about 5 minutes until it thickens. After about 5 minutes of simmering, you can tell it's kind of thickened up. So that will be put on as kind of a drizzle over the Cordon Bleu. So we're just gonna wait until the chicken rests in the refrigerator for about an hour, and then we'll come back out and we'll fry it up. My friends, I took a short little interlude while the chicken was cooling and resting in the refrigerator, and Brian and Katie came home to me sauteing that cheese sauce, and they nearly vomited. Apparently, Dijon mustard in cream will permeate your entire house with the aroma or smells of Dijon mustard. So if you are adverse to strong smells, you may want to skip that part. Just use the cream and the cheese to make a little cheese sauce. Maybe some garlic in there would be nice. In fact, I wish I would have thought of that earlier. So we're on to the process of actually frying the chicken. I've gone ahead and done an egg wash and the breading process. I think we're all pretty intelligent enough to know how that works. But the breading mixture I used was simply almond flour and some Parmesan cheese. I did a kind of a mixture of finely shredded Parmesan and grated Parmesan. So I've got my oil all heated up. Let's go and fry up some chicken. All right, that oil is nice and hot. We're gonna go ahead and drop our chicken in very carefully because it is rolled up, it will fall apart apparently. And it says to cook on all sides for about 5 minutes. We'll just do 2 at a time for now. With that chicken cooked all the way through, and it shouldn't take very long because you're flipping it and we pounded out that chicken. We'll just transfer the chicken over to a plate with a paper towel to drain off some of the grease, cut our heat, and wait for it to be served. All right, my friends, so we have the low-carb chicken Cordon Bleu. It actually didn't take that long, and it wasn't really that difficult to prepare. Basically, the hardest part was pounding out the chicken. Now, like I said, it's been years since I've fried any chicken, so I'm not exactly sure how this is gonna turn out. I made sure to cut into it to make sure it was cooked all the way through, but I may have overcooked it. Not really sure yet, so let's give it a try. Whoops, I dropped a piece, so Faith will be happy. No, and that turned out really, really good. That Dijon is a little overpowering, so instead next time I might just do garlic, but that turned out awesome. I hope you enjoyed this video, my friends. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you have any other low-carb recipes that you'd like me to give a try, please comment down below. I would love to try your recipes. Thanks so much, my friends. Take care.